we brought the kids to the beach and they're over here swimming and running around. We just decided to do a little Q&A and just kind of like, we've been sitting here reminiscing and we've been talking about just like love, life, quarantine, kids, marriage. And I know that a lot of people had a lot of questions. We've been married for 15 years. We got married really, really young. How's it been for you?
Well, it was a journey, and we had good experience, and we had to learn a lot on our own, which makes a difference because when somebody's there to help you out all the way, it's kind of easy and you forget. But once you learn it on your own, it usually sticks better. And I'm really glad that we actually did that, because we can teach our kids now how to, you know.
Would you advise people to get married young like we did?
I think if you are ready to get married, then go for it, because I don't think there's an age, there's an exact age for getting married.
Yeah.
So if you are ready, you are ready.
I agree with that. Like, I think I advise my kids to get married young. I feel like if you find the one, and you know, when we got married, we didn't have anything. We were still in school, we were broke, we were still like a little bit immature, but we knew that we loved each other and we wanted to start life together. And we just went for it. What about having kids young? What do you think about that?
Actually, having kids young is actually the best thing to do, in my opinion, because you're young and the kids are young, so you grow together. So there's not a big age difference between the parents and the kids. They all look like we're all brothers and sisters now.
Yeah, it's just, I think it's like we have more fun with them because we can relate and we have the energy to keep up with them. I think that, you know, I mean, I see why people wait sometimes to start having kids, but it wasn't something we thought about.
We didn't really plan for it, it just happened, right?
Yeah, but we both knew that we wanted to be young parents. That's the one thing we both knew we wanted to do, was be young parents. And we knew we kind of did everything backwards. You know, we first had kids and then we finished school after, and then started becoming financially stable way after. So we kind of did everything backwards, and I think it was scary at first, but we were always happy and we were always together. I remember we both like decided like the most important thing to us was spending time with the kids, like today, like just us alone somewhere, watching them have fun and them coming up to us every second and telling us, "Mommy, look at this," and "Daddy, look at this." It's like we don't really get a lot of time to ourselves, but it's beautiful. We get time with the kids, but at the same time we get a lot of time to ourselves too, I guess. What
So we're always doing things together, so which is a good thing, and that's sort of what we planned from the beginning. So we travel together, we go out a lot together, and then once in a while, Honey and I go, you know, on a date night. And
date nights are really important, you guys. In a marriage, I think, would you say date nights are probably the most important part of marriage, I think?
Yeah, that's really important, because that gets you, you know, when you're really tired and you've been with the kids the whole time, you want to just escape.
Yeah.
And that's like our escaping time.
Yeah. And it kind of makes us remember why sometimes you get so stuck on a routine that you forget that, you know, that there's love, you know? Like, I love you too kind of becomes a routine, you know? And you're like, do I really love you? Or am I just saying that because that's just what I've got used to saying, you know? And date night kind of helps us remember why we're in this together.
I found the seesaw.
Oh my god, it's so cute. Okay, let's take it home. I'll collect it for you guys.
Well,
you guys
we're
ready?
Surfing.
Yeah.
We're gonna go surfing.
Okay.
We can get the. So we can get the wave. Mommy, where are we gonna stop?
all the way past that green house thing.
That's a blue.
The lifeguard. Yeah, the blue lifeguard.
The
Number
number
2?
3?
Yeah, past number 1. That's number 1.
Ali, watch out, watch out. Ali has to pass number. Okay, let's go.
So a lot of people want to know, is it harder to raise boys or girls? Yeah, you go first.
So I think raising boys at the beginning is easier, but it gets harder as they grow older.
Yeah, they do.
And for girls it's the opposite, mainly because you have to kind of change your tone. They're very sensitive. For me it was difficult, but you know, with Honey's help I was able.
It was hard for me too, because I got used to being a mother of boys. You know, I had 3 boys in a row, and as soon as Amelia was born, both of us had like conversation. We're like, okay, there's a lot of things we have to change around the house. Like, you know, we used to use the words "stop acting like a girl" a lot. And as soon as Amelia was born, we're like, okay, we can't use that phrase anymore, because she's gonna wonder, what do you mean? What's wrong with acting like a girl, right?
Yeah.
So we had to throw that away. As soon as she was born, we changed that. And with the boys, it was challenging for me. It was easier for him, because he's very athletic and he's very active. So you know, he was able to do all the things they did. And for me, I feel like I was such a girly girl. I never really exercised, jumped, I didn't run, I didn't do anything. I just, you know,
So I used to make fun of her because she walked so slow.
That was it. That was the most active I ever been, was walking. So having boys challenge me to kind of be active and be out there and moving, and I think having a girl, after that, I was terrified of having a girl. I remember when we first, like Amelia was a surprise, so we didn't really find out until she was born that it was a girl. And he was scared. What was that thing you kept on saying when Amelia was born?
I was saying things like, you know, with the 3 boys, I'm gonna be the fourth security guard, because I have to make sure that I watch every move she makes, everywhere she goes. I was already thinking ahead of time, like when she's a teenager.
Yeah, thank goodness we have a lot of time before then. She's 7 years old, but like, it was funny. He just kept on saying, honey, I gotta find myself a security outfit. I have to start being a security from now. And I'm like, dude, you have so much time left before you have to do that. You were on your surfboard?
Yeah, and I thought the wave was gonna be a little bit not that strong, but the wave was so big and strong, it was almost stronger than Amine, and it got me, and I still managed to get out of the wave.
So the other question a lot of people have is, how does your relationship change when you have kids?
When you have kids, you basically sign your life away. So you don't have time for yourself.
Forget about a relationship. You don't have time for nothing.
You don't have time for anything.
Anything at all.
All your time is consumed by mommy, daddy, you know?
It's constant interruption. I mean, right now we're getting this moment because they're too busy.
Yeah, they're
in the water, but then every now and then they'll come and show us something.
Yeah.
And I think that is just, you're kidding yourself if you think like, oh, you know, I'm gonna have kids and I'm gonna like still do all the things I used to do.
Forget about it. It's never gonna happen.
No.
So you barely have time to breathe.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Especially the first few years, you're constantly trying to keep up with like how much sleep you're getting.
Yeah, Annie was a big sleeper. She used to count. She used to say like, I only had 9 hours sleep. I'm like,
no,
yeah,
I never used to get 9 hours sleep. What
I'm just saying. I'm just saying. You used to sleep a lot more than me. I mean, I got used to sleeping like 4 or 5 hours a day.
Because I need sleep, and he doesn't. He can function without a lot of sleep. So I think the one thing, as for someone who loves sleeping, I would advise you to find, if you love sleeping, find a spouse that does not love sleeping too.
The opposite, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Because
the spouse has to be the opposite, because if you both love to sleep, then forget about raising kids.
Both of you guys are gonna go crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good thing was he doesn't like. I mean, he can survive. He likes to sleep, but I'm saying he can survive.
But you know, like I could sleep 4 or 5 hours a day and I'm fine the next day.
What do you think is the most challenging thing about babies?
Babies? Before 3?
Yeah.
I think again it's the sleeping part, because they wake up a lot at nighttime. I wish they would wake up more in the daytime, but it's not the case. So it's like they do it in purpose, where they wake up in the middle of the night just so they can mess with you sleep.
Yeah.
So I think that was the most challenging part for me and for you.
I think for me the most challenging part was changing a diaper. I've never changed a diaper
I got
before.
pro at that quick.
Yeah. I mean, I eventually learned, but I never really liked it.
Yeah.
I think some moms really enjoy it. I just never enjoyed it. So a lot of people want to know if this quarantine helped us or hurt us as a couple, as a family.
Yeah.
And that's like actually a good question, because at first you're all scared, right? Because usually everyone is busy at work or at school. You see each other a few hours of the day, but you don't see each other all day, every day for 24 hours, 7 days a week,
minute,
right?
Every minute.
It was some adjustment.
Yeah.
But ultimately we loved it. I loved it.
I think as a family we got a lot closer with each other, and we get to eat a lot more meals together.
Yeah.
Which was
we prayed a lot together. We had a lot of like prayer time together. Alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah. And this helped a lot actually during the Ramadan.
Yeah, Ramadan.
Really good.
I feel like Ramadan should always be in quarantine.
I think so. I'll vote for that.
It was so nice. I think you know, because we were at that stage where everybody was so busy. The kids were playing sports. Amelia was in gymnastics. After I was working tons. I was working, and it was we were in like pastime. We're always passing each other like, okay, and we're trying to have to make time, like family time and date time and Abdi and honey time. And this quarantine, everything was gone, so it was like, I think the first week was wonderful, because we were catching up with all the things we wanted to do.
So the second week we were sick of each other.
Yeah. It was almost a little too much time.
Too much time, yeah. The third one we got to adjust it.
Yeah.
And find our rhythm.
Yeah.
And after that, everything, like everybody knew what they were doing. Everybody had a schedule. Then everything was good.
I think it was the hardest for you because you work from home, and suddenly we were in your space.
Yeah, and everybody was coming to my office and asking me questions, can you do homework with me, and so on and so forth. And I was going crazy. I'm like, no, and I was keep on yelling, and then Honey and I sit down, and then we came up with a schedule that works for all of us, and I think that made a whole lot of change.
We really I feel like we got close again. It was like now our family is like the way it used to be when the kids were little, and we had nothing but time with each other.
So it's all about learning, adjusting, and be ready for the challenge. So it's all about.
A lot of people want to know, how do you know when you find the one? What are you doing?
Yeah,
Oh, the waves are too big?
but I still older than me.
That's why you have Amine. Why don't you go with Amine? He's in there right there.
Yeah, but if I go over there by myself, I keep on getting caught by the waves. They're like pushing me back or forwards.
Let me call Amir. Amir! I'm glad that she knows her limits. She's very, very careful.
I made that with just my 1 foot.
Really? Wow.
I did this too.
What's that? I can't believe I fell for that. What is that supposed to be?
It's supposed to be poo.
A poo? Why would you bring poo into this beautiful ocean? You're so weird sometimes. So this whole thing reminds you of poop?
All the fishes pooping this place about 50 times a day.
Wow. This is my cool dude right here. Soon to be a teenager. I'm gonna miss this little face. There goes Amir, who just decided to like jump into the water. How was the swim?
It was cold, but then Amine and Ali let me use their boogie boards.
He wasn't ready for it. Like he didn't come dressed for it, and then he just like, you know what? I'm just gonna take everything off because I'm that cool. How do you make that big decision of getting married?
Well, when you find the one, you already know. You know you cannot envision or see the future without that person.
Yeah, that's
And
so
you
true.
know that is the right person.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter how old you are.
Yeah, I feel like you just know, and
You just
sometimes,
know,
sometimes, you know, you don't overthink those things because it's just so natural. You just know.
You just know exactly.
I mean, I just couldn't imagine my life without him. People want to know, like, how do we solve our like issues around the house with kids and with each other?
I think what we do is we always talk about issues, and we always find solutions to the problems. I believe there's a solution for every problem, and you can only find those solutions if you talk about it.
Yeah.
Don't never assume that the other person already knows what you're thinking and what the solution may be.
Yeah, that's
So
true.
You gotta talk about it. You gotta talk through it.
Talking is a big part of marriage. Like once you stop talking, I think that's when the marriage is going sideways. You have to talk. You have to talk. Even when you're mad, you talk. When you're happy, you're talking. When you're sad, you're talking. People want to know how is it like raising teenager boys?
Well, it's a challenge. It's another chapter of our lives.
Well, we only have one teenager boy so far. The other one is turning. It's gonna become teen in a few days, and that one is the crazy one. He's over there. He's just like, he is like a full-on teenager. He thinks we are so not cool. I thought I was ready because you remember how I used to ask everybody, how is it like to have a teenager boy? How is it like to have a teenager in the house? And I gathered all this information thinking that I was so prepared, and then I finally have a teenager boy plus a preteen, and I'm not ready. I'm not prepared. I was completely shocked. Like, they're so different. Like, it's like day and night. They just switch, you know, and then every now and then they become sweet. Like this morning, I was just walking, and then me and Ahmed saw each other in the hallway. He's coming. We saw each other in the hallway, and he kissed me in the forehead for like no reason. And I thought that was the cutest thing ever because I can't remember the last time he kissed me.
So to me, I think it's another challenge or another chapter in our life. And one thing that I don't like or I'm having a hard time is Amir is sharing my clothes with me.
Yeah.
So he's constantly asking, can I wear this? Can I wear that?
Yeah.
So so that's one of the challenges that I'm facing right now.
Yeah.
Which is not a bad thing, but it's not a good thing either.
It's definitely something for us to learn. The thing about parenting, I think, and in marriage is there's always something new you have to learn and conquer. There's something new.
The learning never
stops. Yeah, it never stops. So you're always a student, not a teacher. This was really a nice chat where, you know, we just talked love and life and kids. I hope you guys enjoyed it. see you guys in the next video.
Yeah.